ITE 328 Affirming Diversity Project Product and Presentation by Angela Pacheco, Brooke Bolton, Celine Cardona, Sophia Peck, and Akane Williams. Our product was a children's multilingual language storybook. Our driving question was, how do we create an environment that supports MLLs and the use of their native language in the classroom? MLLs being multilingual learners. We will do this by creating a book that displays students' home languages and encourages the use of students' home languages, representing all students' cultures and languages in the classroom through the use of diverse materials. Some culturally and linguistically responsive teaching principles that could be applied here are CRT1, Positive Perspectives on Parents and Families, which applies because it is a part of creating a safe and supportive environment for diverse language use, which includes educators participating in a dialogue with parents and students in regards to their home language and cultural concepts that are important to them. This strengthens cultural connection and relationship between the community and classroom. CRT3, Learning within the context of culture, applies because it is a part of creating a safe and supportive environment to have educators with the knowledge of their students' cultures represented in the classroom and incorporating students' cultures and native language into their lessons. LRT1, Sociolinguistic Consciousness, applies because teachers must understand the connection between language, culture, and identity in order to better understand how language use affects their students. LRT2, Value for Linguistic Diversity, applies because the educator should value and encourage linguistic diversity in the classroom. This is one of the main principles that applies to our driving question and also CRT1. CRT5, Culturally Mediated Instruction, could apply because a part of mediating instruction to be culturally relevant includes culturally relevant materials. And finally, CRT6, Reshaping the Curriculum, applies because a part of reshaping curriculum to fit the students' needs is acknowledging native language use. Beneficiaries and product justification. The beneficiaries for this product are students, parents, and teachers. For our justification, we said that one group, in addition to the MLLs, that could potentially benefit from this product is parents, because the parents can use this book to empower their children to use their native language both at home and in school. And all students will benefit from the product because they will be able to see representation in the classroom, see stories from other cultures and languages, and become more open-minded and knowledgeable about people who are different from them. Product description and explanation. So we created a children's multilingual language storybook that empowers and highlights 5 different multilingual students in the classroom. The different multilingual students we highlighted were Japanese, Hawaiian, Portuguese, Spanish, and a deaf student who signs ASL. The book discusses the students' culture and languages they speak at home, showcases students' diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds, shows how students speak and use their native language at home, and shows how students are encouraged and excited to use their native language in the classroom. The book addresses the need we identified and the driving question, which was creating a safe and supportive environment for diverse language use, because it will show students that are celebrated in school and at home for their language use, and will end with a message of why it is important to speak one's native language. And now I will show you our storybook. Mrs. Miyashiro's Magnificent Multicultural Class, written by Akane Williams, Angela Pacheco, Brooke Bolton, Celine Cardona, and Sophia Peck. Mrs. Miyashiro's class has so many students that speak many different languages. There are 8 students that speak Japanese, a student who speaks Portuguese, 2 students who speak Hawaiian or Alelo Hawaii, a student who signs ASL, and a student who speaks Spanish.
Miss Miyashiro's class has 8 Japanese students among her 24 students. As 1/3 of the class speaks Japanese in the classroom, all 8 of the students have gotten used to only talking to each other and leave out the rest of the class when they talk and play in school. Miss Miyashiro noticed one day that the other students were really interested in talking to the Japanese students and saw the excited looks in their eyes when one of the Japanese students taught them the phrase "Isho ni asobo," or "Let's play together." While listening to her students' interactions, Miss Miyashiro had a light bulb moment. What if the 8 students taught the rest of the class about Japanese culture? We can make food together, we can make origami cranes, we can learn different phrases, said the students. Miss Miyashiro's class did exactly those things. She dedicated the whole day to learn different phrases, made origami cranes, and learned about the significance of 1,000 cranes, and made soba noodles and learned the history of them. That day, all the students went home to tell their parents about their day. The students who taught the rest of the class were so excited to talk to their parents in Japanese about how they got to teach their class about their culture.
When Francisco, another one of Miss Miyashiro's students, was telling his family about his day learning Japanese, his family inspired him to share some of his own language and culture with his class. That night, Francisco's avo, his grandmother, helped him make his favorite sweet treat so he could share them with his classmates: pastéis de nata, Portuguese egg tarts. Francisco brought his avo with him the next day to help him tell the story of how his family came from Portugal to the US when he was younger. Francisco taught his classmates lots of useful phrases in Portuguese, like how to say hello, goodbye, and thank you. Hola, adeus, and obrigada. His classmates loved the pastéis de nata that he and his avo brought for them.
Another one of Miss Miyashiro's students was also multilingual. His name was Ikaika. He saw other students share their home language and he wanted to share his as well. Ikaika decided that he would teach his neighbor Siva Olala Hawaii so they could talk story as they walked home. Aloha Siva, do you want to learn Olala Hawaii? That sounds like lots of fun. I always hear you talking to your sister. Maybe I can talk to her too. Ikaika was so excited to share his language with his dear friend Siva. They decided to start their lessons immediately. Repeat after me. Ovai ko inoa. Ovai ko inoa. As Siva and Ikaika walked home, they practiced speaking Olelo Hawaii. Pehea oi. Mai ka'iau. A o oi. Then they ran into Ikaika's sister, who was surprised to hear Siva speaking Olelo Hawaii. Mai ka'i e Siva, your Olelo Hawaii is so good. Mahalo e kanoi, make oi e pa'ani. They all played and spoke Olelo Hawaii together. Hele wiki e kanoi. The next day at school, Siva and Ikaika decided to teach the whole class Olelo Hawaii so they can all play and speak together. Repeat after us. Aloha. Aloha.
This is Samantha. Her parents are deaf, but she is hearing. Her parents can't hear anything, but she can't, so they communicate through sign language. When Samantha is home, she signs to her parents, but she speaks English with her friends and teachers when she is in school. Samantha was inspired by her classmates to share some simple signs that everyone can use in the classroom. She taught them how to fingerspell the alphabet and sign help, bathroom, and thank you.
Our final friend is Estrella. Estrella's parents are from Spain, and so she speaks Spanish at home with her family. Estrella loves to read books in Spanish to her newborn baby brother and will often ask her parents if she can read her favorite book, El Monstruo de Colores. Estrella told her baby brother, Te amo, mi hermanito. Estrella also loves to write, and she recently wrote a Spanish poem that won a community award for her use of her native language in her writing. Her parents were so proud of her and inspired Estrella to share her poem in Spanish language with her classmates. Her mother said, Ambos estamos muy orgullosos de ti. Hablas español muy bien. Gracias, mamá. Te amo, papa, y a ti. Estrella read her Spanish poem to her class, and her classmates loved hearing her speak Spanish and wanted to learn more. Estrella decided to teach her friends some phrases in Spanish and also taught them about some of her culture. Estrella's classmates spoke Spanish phrases to each other for the rest of the school day. Hola is hello. Gracias is thank you. ¿Cómo estás is how are you. Estoy bien, gracias. I am good, thank you. Adiós, goodbye. ¿Quieres jugar? Do you want to play? El español es tan divertido. Spanish is so fun. After a long week of learning about so many students' languages and cultures, Miss Miyashiro was so proud of all of her students. She was so proud and happy that her students spoke their native languages at home and at school. Her students were so smart. Speaking your native language is so important. Now Miss Miyashiro hears students speaking so many different languages around the classroom all the time. She hears Japanese, Hawaiian, Portuguese, Spanish, and sees ASL. The students speak their native languages to each other for fun, teach each other, and use it to help them in school. Being bilingual is awesome. The end.